Hello everybody, welcome to another Rick's Picks. Today I'm going to be doing my review of Boom, the G.I.Joe classified figure Snake Eyes with Polar Bear. Now, this particular Snake Eyes is based off of the G.I. Joe Real American Hero cartoon, more specifically the original 4-part series. So I'm really excited to see what they do with them. That was probably one of my favorite parts of the G.I. Joe cartoon. So with that being said, the first thing I want to mention is that I do have a membership program. So for $2 a month, you get a lot of really cool stuff like behind the scenes, blooper reels, and a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm thinking of. So without any further ado, roll that intro. He is in packaging. You got your standard classified packaging here. So you got G.I. Joe, Snake Eyes, and Polar Bear. You get an open window where you can see him, the Polar Bear, all their accessories. He's part of the Mass series, G.I. Joe Classified, Hasbro, your choking hazards, and age restriction. Come around here. You get a cool picture of the Polar Bear and Snake Eyes. I do like that. G.I. Joe and his number. You come around here. You see him versus the Polar Bear. Some of the Polar Bear special features. And some legal underneath. On this side, you have his stats, his number, and your QR code. On top, you got the G.I. Joe star and his number. And underneath, you got your legal and SKU. So, all that being said, let's open him up and see what he's about. So here he is, out of packaging. The overall profile to him doesn't look that bad. Now, the first thing we're going to do is go through his points of articulation. So, first off, the head does move. You get a shoulder joint with a swivel. All right, you get an elbow joint and a wrist joint. Get this other arm up. Do have a clicking swivel back and forth in underneath the ribs. And you also have a hip joint. Moving your way down, there's a thigh joint with a swivel. All right, a knee joint, a swivel at the top of the boot. And you also got an ankle joint. Okay. Now, right up off the cuff, if you really look at this guy, what he really is a repaint of the original Snake Eyes figure. I believe it's actually the retro Snake Eyes. So that's all he really is just a repaint. They gave him the cartoon color, so he has that darker purple look to him with the radioactive glowing hands. So the first thing we're going to look at is the head sculpt. Like I said, it's the same exact head sculpt as the retro one, but you got the goggles that are like this, gloss purple, which looks kind of nice. I do like that. All right, come to this side here. Back around to the front. And over to this side. All right. So now that we've looked at the head sculpt, let's start working our way down to the body. So there's not really much to say about him. Like I said, he's basically just a repaint of the original Snake Eyes. So you got a couple of pouches that are darker purple. You got a flash grenade here. Come around to this side. You have a holster for a pistol. All right. Bring this arm down. You got a purple pouch there. Come around to the back. All right. Not a whole lot going on there. And the same to this side. So there's not a whole lot of special detail to this figure, but he's still pretty good looking. Now he comes with a couple different accessories. So first off, we're going to look at the hands. So he does come with 2 pink open hands. 1 and 2. All right. He does come with 2 pink closed hands, fist hands. So you got 1 and 2. Now this is supposed to be a reminiscent of the original cartoon to where he was radioactive. So to get that look, they went with the pink hands to give him that radioactive look. And he comes with 2 trigger hands that are normal color. 1 and 2. All right. Next off, he comes with a dagger. All right. There you go. A pistol. All right. So there's your pistol. Now, this does have a hole in the front. So if you want to add a blast effect, you can. All right. He comes with the canister of the crystals. All right, from the mines. And then he comes with a closed canister, which this too is a repaint. It's from the I forget what the Viper's name is. It's the one that looks like mutated, that goes underground, or like the mining Vipers. But anyway, this canister looks just like the one that he came with, and I can't think of the name of that particular Viper. All right. Next off, he has a rifle. Okay. And he comes with a bear trap for the bear that opens and closes. All right. Now, let's see how well all this works with them. So first off, we're going to take these hands off. Let's bend that elbow. There we go. All right. And we're going to put the 2 open hands on. 1 and 2. All right. So as you see, they fit on. No issues. All right. Now he has the 2 closed fists. 1 and 2. All right. So he has the closed fists. No issues with that. And now you have the 2 skin color hands. 1 and 2. All right. So all the hands switch out pretty well. No issues. Now I'm going to just remove this one and grab one of the pink hands, because we're going to put the weapons between these 2 hands. So I figure if it works with one pink hand, it will work with the other pink hand. The same with the flesh color hand. So we're going to do the pistol and knife first. Do the pistol in this hand. All right. All right. No issues with that. And then the dagger, knife in this hand. So the 2 weapons swap out very well. No issues. Now we're going to put the knife in its holster, which is underneath this arm. All right. Very easily. Nothing going on there. And then you take this one and you put it in here. Just like that. Now, if you look here at this, you'll see this extra hole. And that's why this is a complete raid paint, because the original Snake Eyes figure had a muzzle suppressor that came with it. So you would put the pistol in here, and then you put the suppressor in there. So instead of giving him, a different, unique holster for the pistol, they just repurposed the other one. All right, so next is the rifle. Right. Let's get that finger in the trigger there. Oops. All right. And that finger doesn't want to cooperate. Wants to move away from the trigger. All right, there we go. All right, I got it. Now, with any rifle, I always like to do the two-handed hold. Most of these Joes, it's usually not an issue because their fingers are very flexible, so it's easy to open them up and get the rifle barrel in there. All right. So as you can see, that works well. No issues with that. All right. Now let's see. You got your canister here, and this one you could probably just hook it onto one of these pieces here. All right. So you want him holding that, you could just hook it in between the hands. Now we're going to take one of your open hands here. All right. All right. And the reason I'm using an open hand is so you can move the open hand up. Come on. Get that wrist in there. And now you could have him holding the crystals just like that with the open hand. Okay, so now we're going to compare him to the Super 7 Snake Eyes, who's also based off of the original G.I. Joe cartoon. So you look at these two guys side by side, and for the most part, they actually look very similar. So the head designs, if you look at his head, has the two stripes off it, the goggles, and the vents. You look at this one, his head's pretty much similar. All right. He has the purple pouches here. So does he. Now he's brighter colors, and that's more accurate to the cartoon. He doesn't have the side pouches, which he didn't have in the cartoon. You do switch them this way. You can see the purple here, the purple pouch. And he has the darker pouch, which is, once again, a repaint, but he doesn't have the lighter pouch underneath. All right. And now another thing I wanted to bring up that was different with these is, like I said earlier, this canister, as I lose it, this canister here is just a repaint from one of the Vipers, as I said earlier. But now, if you look at this canister, this is more cartoon accurate. It even has the Cobra logo when it went to self-destruct in the Joe base. So this one actually looks a lot more like how it did in the cartoon. So I still think they're two great looking Snake Eyes. I just feel like the Super 7 one is more accurate to the cartoon. So next we got the polar bear. Now I do have the legs and head in hot water because the legs just weren't going together without it. So he comes disassembled. So the legs come off of the bear. All right, so let's put this one on. Pops right into place. No issues. And that one. So now all four legs are on. All right. So here he is. He's a pretty good looking bear. All right. Let's look at him from this side. So first, let's take a good look at this head sculpt. As you can see, there's scrapes and scratches on it that look pretty nice. All right. Let's give him a full rotation now. So he has some gray and dark on him, which looks cool. Kind of gives him some depth. It gives him a little bit more pop than being just a straight white toy. All right. So now let's go through his points of articulation. So the neck moves, the head moves. You got a shoulder joint, an elbow joint, a toe joint, And you do have an ankle joint. With the rear legs, you have the thigh joint. You do have a knee joint and an ankle joint, but you do not have a toe joint in the back. All right, and then the head swap out. All right, that came off pretty easily. You got the alternate head, where he's more of a screaming. So let's get him into full bear standing up mode. All right. All right. Now he's very front heavy. All right. So he's not balanced very well, but oh shoot. Scale this up just a hair so you can see him. So there he is, full blown bear ready to kill somebody mode. All right. So once you find his balance point, it ain't so bad. All right. Now, let's take a good look at this head, because I didn't really take a look at it. I kind of just threw it on there. So, obviously, the mouth is open. If you look on this side, got the same scars. With the eye, if you look at the eye, you can see that it's a blind eye. So, he can't see out of that eye, probably due to the damage. And now, if you come around here, you can pull this tuft of hair off. And now you have body damage here in the shoulder. And you can put this one on. So now it looks like he was attacked by arrows, which is pretty cool. So I like the fact that they actually took some time with this bear. They didn't just give him some random bear just to throw with him. No, they gave him a bear that comes with two heads. Some play action here. And I like the fact that he does come with the bear. I mean, I'm sure a couple people are probably upset that he doesn't come with timber. But you already got like at least 2 or 3 snake eyes that already comes with timber. So it isn't like you wouldn't have a timber to go with them. So it just makes sense that he came with the bear. All right, so let's get into my final thoughts with him. So first off, the joints moved very well on both figures. Had no issues with any of that. With Snake Eyes, all his hands, weapons, and accessories swap out very easily with him. No issues. The bear, I did have to heat the legs to get the legs on, which isn't a major issue. That's a common thing with toys. Also, I heated up the head just to make it easy to swap in and out. So I had no issue swapping the head. The same with his play features on the side. You know, all that was easy. And I do like the overall look to these two. I think he's a good looking figure, and I really like the factor that they gave him the bear instead of timber with this set. Now, I also compared him to the Super 7 figure, and they're both good looking figures. I do feel like he is a good looking figure, but I do feel like the Super 7 figure is more cartoon accurate. It's a lot more accurate to the cartoon, but for the most part, they're fairly similar. You know, because unfortunately, all he really is a repaint. They didn't really do any real special changes or anything for him to be, you know, cartoon Snake Eyes. He's just a repaint. So, would I recommend this set? Yes, I would. I absolutely would. And the main reason is because of the bear. I do like the bear. I think he's a great accessory to go with this particular Snake Eyes. As for the Snake Eyes himself, if you do like the original American Hero cartoon, then he's definitely worth getting. If you're not a big fan of the cartoon, the figure may be a hit or miss, but the bear is definitely worth it. And once again, I want to say it was a smart idea to go with the bear instead of timber, just because of the fact that we already have a couple of timbers out there. So if you really want this Snake Eyes to have timber with him, you could just grab one of the other timbers and put it with them, and it will work just as well. So yes, I would recommend this figure. So with that being said, the first thing I want to do is give a couple of shout outs to some people who do support this channel. First off is Byron Bassett and his alter ego Humongous. He does a lot of stuff that really helps out this channel, and he really does support this channel. He does have his own YouTube channel where he does a Sunday show every Sunday without fail. It's pretty funny. I would suggest you check that out. And also, I want to give a shout out to Action Figure Geeks. It's a Reddit group that I'm part of. They also support this channel. And of course, all their information is in the description. Also, I'd like to ask you to check out my G.I. Joe playlist and my membership program. Plus, hit that like, share, and subscribe. They're all small clicks for you, but it really helps this channel grow. So until the next one, late.